You are now tuned into the Low Key Thriving podcast. We're creating a space for growth, prosperity, and wholeness through a multidimensional approach is our theme. So stay locked in. I have a lot in store for you. In this episode, I want to talk about the in-between stage, the almost there stage. You know how people can post like, oh, this is my glow up, and they show the before and then the after. What about that little dash, that line in between? What happened in between those stages of people's lives? That's what I'm intrigued in. That's the story. That's what pulls out the character of a person or creates those great stories that you hear about how a person overcame something or they became triumphant over something that they struggled with. I just feel like it's not talked about because it doesn't look pretty. It's an awkward stage. It's a phase where we've all been through it one time or another, or more than some more than others. You know, it's just not something that we really discuss and really break down and look into. So I definitely wanted this episode to really kind of be just a point of reference for someone who is in their in-between stages. And definitely I want to be someone who gives you a little bit of encouragement, because I can say at this point in my life, I am definitely in between some stages, okay? And I am definitely growing. I am evolving. I am being molded and stretched and being pushed to my limits in so many ways. And as quickly as I want to, claim the glory and all the accolades for reaching the end of the line or the road, would it even be that exciting if I don't tell you about what happened in the in-between? Because we all know that in order for someone to reach any level of success, there had to be some sacrifice. My husband and I, we call it the working out and drinking the raw egg yolk stage. If you ever watch like an action movie or a movie that, talks about where the main character is like building stamina or building some sort of noble characteristic, they go through the stage, they're like running in the rain and they're working out every day. And they're just like, I really hate this point in my life, but I'm going to keep running these stairs every day and I'm going to work on this project, and I'm in the lab and I'm not showering and I'm not bathing or doing anything. I'm just going to work hard on this machine, or I'm going to work my body out until it can't work out anymore. That stage, y'all know what I'm talking about in the movies where they play that superhero montage music. That's the stage I'm talking about. The in-between, that unmolded person who wasn't sure of themselves or what they were going to do or how they were going to build this massive machine or overcome this company or beat this villain, this protagonistic character in the movie. They go through the stage and they're being molded. And although we see this in our cinema and we hear it in stories and movies and plays, I don't ever really see it being necessarily documented in a person's life. Sometimes when you see it, it's kind of after the fact, like this is what I went through when I was building my multi-million-dollar business, like Tyler Perry. I think Tyler Perry is a good example. Of course, there was no medium for him to record his struggles when he was sleeping in his car and making those sacrifices to have what we know now as Tyler Perry Studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. But if we could take a camera crew and just follow the old young Tyler Perry around when he was in the midst of creating that empire that we know now, what would that look like? You know what I mean? Now, take out the fact he probably wouldn't want to be recorded. We all know that isn't necessarily when we are at our best. But what if we could record Tyler Perry in that phase of his life? You know what I mean? Like, would somebody see that and say, I'm not going to just throw myself into something that I'm not ready for? Am I mature enough to start this new thing? Am I ready? Would I have earned it? Sometimes I see people say things like, oh, I think this is easy. You know what I mean? Oh, I go into this blindly and I say, oh, I have all this confidence and courage. And yes, that's great. But sometimes in order to get to that next stage, you have to grow. There's something that you have to change within yourself. You know what I mean? To be that person that you need to be in that next season or that next stage of your life. I already know if you made it this far into the episode, you're feeling your girl's podcast. Am I right? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, while you're at it, make sure you head on over to my website. It's at lktpodcast.com. There you have links to my social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter. Okay. And also my brand new hot off the press YouTube channel. Yes, I'm giving you guys visuals. Yes. So there we're going to tackle more hot topics, see interviews in person. Oh, I have so many things in store for you, so you don't want to miss it. And last but not least, LKT Apparel. You heard me. Low-key thriving apparel is coming to a city near you. You do not want to miss that release, okay? Because I'm going to make sure you guys can rep your favorite podcast no matter where you are. All right? So make sure you hit me up, lktpodcast.com. All right? Peace. What does that entail? I feel like, from my experience, it's usually not pretty. I don't think I've ever heard anyone who had anything worth having, which means you had to work hard for it 9 times out of 10. I just don't see Jeff Bezos saying, yeah, I created Amazon in my garage and I just built the business from the ground and it was pretty easy for me. I didn't run into any obstacles. There was no growth on my behalf. I had everything that it took to be this trillionaire that I am and be a good businessman and have the business acumen to run a, billion-dollar, trillion, gazillion-dollar business. You know what I mean? There's some trenches in there. There's some, long nights and sacrifices that come with that. I hate to sound cliche, but with great power comes great responsibility. I didn't learn anything else from Spider-Man. I learned that. I just feel like in the days of Instagram, we don't talk about the in-between stage. So I just wish that we just had more transparency or people felt more comfortable talking about that. It reminds me of this American professor by the name of Brené Brown. She has published several books, but the book that I'm starting to read now is called Daring Greatly. It's a wonderful, phenomenal book. I definitely think you guys should read it. Basically, she touches on the subject of vulnerability, how people resonate with the human act of, I'm showing you that I'm in the growing stages and it doesn't look all that great yet, but if you just hold on just a little bit longer, you'll see my vision like the way I saw it in the beginning. So I feel like sometimes when we're on our journeys to greatness, whatever that may be, whatever your passion or your purpose or your calling is, I just would like to see our generation show more of the growing stages, the ups, the downs, and the in-betweens, because I feel like we are slowly creating this world that everything is always going to be great all the time. Everything's always going to work in my favor. You know what I mean? We hear it in our music, when I was down in the mud in the trenches and nobody was pulling me out and helping me, and I was, out here shooting in the gym. You wasn't with me, okay, well, show us that, because that may be the inspiration for someone who wants to start alongside you and be a comrade, be an ally in what it is that you want to do, or you know what I mean? Like that photographer that's out there that's struggling to work 2 jobs to save up money, working on minimum wage to get that camera or that studio equipment, or that videographer or that director or that new movie director, up and coming movie director, or singer or rapper or whatever. Like, I feel like people love a growth story. I feel like people love seeing people start at the bottom. Now I'm here. Let's talk about now. Start at the bottom now. That in between of that lyric, like, I don't know. Is it just me? I just want to make sure. I just feel like we need to do our due diligence and make sure that we are telling the whole story of our success. And I am charging myself to do the same, because you got to practice what you preach, Just show your level of comfortability, be vulnerable, and just let people know, like, hey, I did it. You can do it too. And this is my journey. Yours won't look exactly the same, but I want you to know it's not going to be no cakewalk. You know what I mean? This is not about to be a walk in the park, because anything, and I mean anything worth having, you gotta put some sweat into it. You gotta put the work into it. Anything worth having, anything worth value to someone, there was some work involved. That's down to making $1 to loving someone and having a healthy relationship. It all takes work. So yeah. Let's talk about the in-between. So I definitely would like to have more dialogue on this subject because I feel like everybody's working on something right now. You know, I feel like with the pandemic, a lot of people have started out on entrepreneurial ventures. Some people have finally decided to go after passions that they've always had but didn't have the time. In both of those aspects, I already know if you made it this far into the episode, you're feeling your girl's podcast. Am I right? Okay. All right. Well, anyway, while you're at it, make sure you head on over to my website. It's at lktpodcast.com. There you have links to my social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter. Okay. And also my brand new hot off the press YouTube channel. Yes, I'm giving you guys visuals. Yes. So there we're going to tackle more hot topics, see interviews in person. Oh, I have so many things in store for you, so you don't want to miss it. And last but not least, LKT Apparel. You heard me. Low-key thriving apparel is coming to a city near you. You do not want to miss that release, okay? Because I'm going to make sure you guys can rep your favorite podcast no matter where you are. All right? So make sure you hit me up, lktpodcast.com. All right? Peace. Even if it's resting, that's another thing. That's something that you would have to work at too, believe it or not. Some people are so busy that they don't know how to rest. It's uncomfortable for them to just spend time with their family and truly like tap in with people. And that can have some growth stages in there, you know. Relearning people and learning how to be yourself again, you know, and not that powerhouse of energy. So I said all that to say, let's show the in-between, you know, hashtag the in-between stage and show the work. Because I feel like if we continue on this path as a society, as a culture, we're going to create this, and not that it doesn't already exist, this false sense of I start today and by tomorrow it'll be perfect. You know what I mean? I start Monday, by Friday I'm a boss. Or I start on the 1st of the month and by the 31st of the month I'm a millionaire. Or I'm selling classes, or I'm doing this, like not taking anybody's validity of what they do and their confidence away. It's not what I'm saying. But what I want us to do is show the building up to your success. Show the ups, the downs, the pitfalls, you know, the learning lessons that are valuable and things that are intangible that no one can take away from you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if we can apply that into one aspect of it, maybe we can apply that to all aspects of our lives. For some, it's easier to apply that to things that aren't so close to home. So if we're doing it with our businesses or our passions, maybe it could bleed and permeate and go into other aspects of our lives, because then it becomes a mindset. No, you don't have to show everything in your entire life. Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're working on something, you're trying to build something, let people know your pitfalls. Let people know the struggles or the lefts when you want it to make a right, you know, because those life lessons show and solidify you at the end of your road. And not that you have to prove that to anyone, but it tears down that false sense of reality of overnight success, instant gratification. I did this last year. By the 10th or 11th month, I was already swinging and knocking it out of the park. And for everyone, it is not the same. So I feel like with the uptick of depression and uptick of suicides and all these mental illnesses, social media has now created this false sense of reality of instant gratification, of instant success. And it's just not real. And I don't know if people are telling people, you know, I hope y'all catch what I'm saying. Let's show the whole story. Let's not just show the before and the after. Let's show the before, the in-between, and the after. You get what I'm saying? If y'all feeling this topic or y'all want to, you know, dive in a little bit more, make sure y'all hit me up in my comments. I would love to hear your success stories and how you came up to be that person, or how you reached that level of success, and, you know, the challenges that you grew from, whatever it may be. If you feel like sharing, I would love to hear it. So hit your girl up, okay? All right, y'all. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Low Key Thriving podcast. Be sure to check back for more episodes on things you love. Also, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at LKT Podcast. Again, that's LKT Podcast. All right, see you later.